I'll rip and screaming from your soul. We'll watch it fall. Now your clouds are all gone. Come and set your light through. Just set your light through before we're only whispers in the wind. You can turn my world upside down, a rush like I've not felt before. I can trust myself. I need you to make it turn. I know. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me? We won't leave it to chance. We can't wait on romance. We'll never be the same again. I could keep the light from turning into darkness. You'd be my escape. What have we been told? Easy to unfold. Future might seem out of reach, but we're getting close. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me? We won't leave it to chance. We can't wait on romance. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me? We won't
With anime in our souls and thoughts of wrestling out of control, we are a group of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling events of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. So grab your steel chair, yell for the table, and get put through an experience unlike any other. Brought to you, of course, by AniMa W3 Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Happy Friday to everyone out there. We just had Friday night SmackDown. And I'm going to be real with you guys. Was not feeling the show at all. It was kind of boring. Like we had one good match on here, where I will say, like the US title open challenge match continues to be probably the strongest thing, probably the best thing on SmackDown weekly. Again, if I'm being honest and all that, but like a lot of everything else was either, hey, this probably could have been done in an email, or just existed, kind of like a filler episode of your favorite anime. Like, it exists, you get some sort of character development, but not really much of anything. So sit back and enjoy, people. We're gonna talk about SmackDown a little bit tonight, as much as we can with whatever they did tonight. So yeah, of course, welcome back to our returning listeners, our returning viewers. Hopefully, again, you guys have had a good week, a good Friday, and all that, all of you out there. And if you're new around these parts and you're wondering, oh, who are these that are on my screen right now? Well, first and foremost, I am one of your co-hosts tonight, your reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Watkins here, gonna be your guide through the SmackDown events of the evening. And of course, I got a lovely gentleman right next to me. He is known around these parts as the genius of the mat. He's gonna help us process some of these stories, and I don't know if he feels the same way about me or about SmackDown that I do, because it was kind of a rough show to get through. But ladies and gentlemen, it is Drop This Box. Drop, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, and I probably fall in the same ballpark as you when it comes to how I feel about SmackDown tonight, because, I mean, like you said, there was probably only like a couple things on here that's really worth talking about when it comes to what really transpired tonight, because it's like you said, the US title scene seems to be carrying SmackDown as of recent, and that's a common thing I've seen from a lot of people online bring that up when it comes to exactly what's going on there, and Sami has been doing a good job with that outside of the matches itself. It's just keeps the whole thing mysterious as to who's going to be approaching him, next week, the following week, etc., so on. But a lot of things within the show itself is pretty much filler. It's like you said, that anime filler that's there. Sometimes you want to watch it, sometimes you want to go online and see what episodes to skip. And that's essentially, that's pretty much how I feel about this, because, I mean, I don't know, just really nothing that's worth sticking out, because a lot of the things that we did see transpire tonight, we have talked about, so it's not like it really pops out in your face or anything. A lot of things that honestly could have just not been there, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of things that just could have been an email and all that. So yeah, and I mean, that's just the thing too with like this time of year when it comes to WWE, because we always have this kind of low period in the fall when it comes mainly WWE's product, where they just kind of don't. I don't want to say they don't care. They kind of half-ass a lot of things, and that's kind of what I'm feeling here, is that they just kind of half-ass this show. And I mean, when you look at SmackDown next week, that's going to be a bit more of a better show. I think it's definitely stacked with some stuff that's really going to, wet the palate and all that. But, we'll talk about those when we come to them tonight as we talk about this SmackDown. So sit back, everybody, grab yourself a snack, maybe a little nice hearty beverage and all that. We'll start with our headline story, which is also dealing with the men's crown jewel title being put on the line, as Cody Rhodes, the WWE champion, will take on Seth Rollins, the world heavyweight champion. And tonight, hey, guess what, everybody? the Brons are in the main event again in a main event tag team match with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. So the night starts with Cody coming out. He doesn't really get to say much of anything, but because Paul Heyman comes out there to interrupt him. Of course, Randy's out there with Cody. The Brons are out there with Paul. It's basically a stare off right here. But basically, the whole gist of this opening segment was Paul Heyman just trying to put a wedge between Cody and Randy, which, I mean, we kind of already knew that there was going to be one anyways, with Randy constantly looking at that title. But with Paul here, he's mainly talking about like tonight, for example, like, oh, how Cody might let Randy down and all that, and how that will really kind of ruin their friendship and everything. And I'm kind of surprised he didn't lean towards the title itself, because that's kind of what will break up their friendship and all that. I don't know, that this was kind of a nothing segment. Like, I'm sitting here listening to it like, why? What is this? Like, nothing's really being said, but okay, fine. Let's just kind of hype up the main event. Cool, neat, awesome. Which the main event happens. Fine match. Again, copy and paste any of these main events that we see on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and just change the players to Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton taking on the Brons. That's basically it. But at least the match itself ended in a decent way, where Braun Breaker puts Cody through the barricade. We have a distraction to the ref by Paul Heyman, and then Seth, of all people, comes in, hits a I don't want to say a nasty stomp, because the first stomp was kind of rough on Randy. I'm not gonna lie, that one was not your best one, buddy. But after the stomp, a tsunami's hit. 1, 2, 3. The Brons win, probably their biggest win they've had so far as a tag team and all that. After the match, Seth, he wants to hit Cody with a stomp, but Paul Heyman's just like, no, he's in your head, blah, blah, blah. And lo and behold, Cody is in Seth's head, because when he goes in there to hit the stomp, he misses. Cody hits him with a crossroads, bada bing, bada boom, standing tall and all that. So, I mean, at least it's kind of pushing the story that direction, where it's like, okay, Seth really can't get Cody out of his head. He's very much obsessed with Cody, it seems like. I don't know. We went from like moving at 2 paces to like a half pace with just this segment, but I don't know. It was fine. It was a fine main event segment, I guess. Drop. What did you think of like the opening segment, this match, the stuff afterwards? Did it move you any? Because again, I feel like I just moved kind of like a half step instead of a whole step.
Honestly, the only things that was really interesting to me was Paul Heyman trying to push the whole narrative of Randy Orton eventually turning on Cody Rhodes, and maybe the result of that match tonight could very well be that. But I would really hope it's more than just losing a match that would really push him to that extent, because I feel like there has to be more meat on the table instead of, oh, we lost a match, I'm going to turn. And it's got to be more than that. It's got to be some sort of action that takes place. Maybe they get into a little dispute or whatever the case may be. That makes a lot more sense. But in that opening segment itself, that's the only thing that really stood out to me. And then when it comes to the match itself, I mean, we've seen the same main event so much. All you really have to do is just swap people around, and that's practically what you get there. So it's like, I didn't really feel anything for the match itself. It's mainly what I talked about before, with like the whole tease of what they're going to do with Randy and Cody, which honestly is starting to make me feel like we might end up getting that match at WrestleMania, just the way that they're taking their time to really slow burn it between both of these guys. And it is a WrestleMania worthy event, so I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if they want to take their time with that, because there definitely is a lot that they can dive into. So if they want to marinate that and do what they need to do before they get to the end of the finish line there, I'm all here for it. But my main thing that I mentioned it last week when we talked about SmackDown, I really don't want the Brons to be involved in this entire feud between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel, because it's because that was my biggest issue with it. Because when I saw it last Friday, I'm like, okay, they're with Seth. So obviously, well, they weren't. Seth wasn't there last week, but like obviously, like I get why they're there, but it's like at the same time, this this revolves around Cody and Seth from what we saw that previous Monday and what we saw from this past Monday, things like that. I don't want to see like these, oh, let's get the Brons involved, let's try to weaken Cody, break an arm, a leg, whatever the case may be, in order to prepare him for that match so he's not a full 100% here. And I just need more than like cheap attacks or getting your boys involved, because I mean, sure, if you want to really hit the nail on a Monday, if you in order to deliver more of the story, I guess that's I don't see how that's enough, because you got both shows, you got one guy from Raw, one guy from SmackDown, so you can easily invade both brands if you really want to add more to what's going on there. I just don't want to see this Bron shit all the time. Like that's the only thing that's annoying me. It's like there's so much more that these guys could do outside of this, and I just don't want to see it. And if this is their way of, I don't know, I just have this weird gut feeling, and deep down I really hope it's a good enough match for Cody and Seth, because they do work well together. A lot of people even comment that they are like soulmates in the ring when it comes to knowing each other very well, and they've always had good matches with one another. So I'm just really hoping, because there's this part of me that's thinking it's going to be like a big clusterfuck where you're going to have a lot of people getting involved, and that's their way of telling us that, hey, Survivor Series is around the corner, we're going to get War Games, you're going to get Randy and all these other people involved before you get a winner towards the end, and then the all group together, and then you build up towards that. Like I don't want to see that. If you want to do that, you want to continue the beef afterwards or whatever, that's fine. But it's like I don't know, like as much as like I get how they can get there with Seth potentially winning the match, I don't know, to me it just seems pretty cheap to go down that direction. Like if somebody's like in your head, because like the whole thing that they ended off the show, and that's why I changed the title of the video. I got to change a lot of things when it comes to even a thumbnail, because that didn't even fucking happen either. But it's like,
no,
Seth, they pretty much have this whole thing where Seth has Cody in his head. He keeps thinking about him too much, and that's pretty much what's really messing him up when it comes to a lot of decisions that he's making, which is kind of why how you could, you know, give Paul Heyman a high five for actually thinking smart in that situation, not to do anything, because he's kind of the guy that would tell you, hey, you know, go do it, doesn't matter, go do it. But no, he didn't want him to. He didn't think it was the right decision, which I do agree with him. But it's like the fact that you have that mindset with Seth, like that's the sort of thing you need to focus on. You need to really get him in a proper mindset when he heads into this match. But as much as I want to say I'm looking forward to this match, I mean, part of me is still there, but a part of me is also thinking they're just going to throw way too many people involved in a match. And this is one of the things I do not like that WWE does a lot, unless it makes sense for it to happen, is the interference is so overdone in this company. So overdone. If it comes to the point where before a match starts, you already know who's going to come out towards the end, which we'll get right into that in our next segment. But that made a little bit more sense when it came to the potential feud going on, and I didn't really have any issues with that, because at least that made sense. But I don't know, I just have this weird gut feeling, as much as it's clear as day this whole thing with Cody and Seth could be wonderful, I'm just having this weird gut feeling.
Yeah, no, I feel you with that gut feeling, because like it's either going to be the Brons or Brock is going to come in, and it's going to be one of the two. And I mean, the one thing that would move me is if this is where we finally get the new member of the Vision, because they kind of need another guy to kind of throw into the rotation for all this. Like if we're going to keep having them on Raw, and I guess now on SmackDown too, if we're going to keep having them on these shows main eventing, at least have a third guy involved, so that way they can at least rotate in between who's in the tag team. Like at least that'll kind of help keep it fresh, even though you have a formulaic tag team matches anymore when it comes to WWE, because they don't, I guess they lost the plot of how tag team wrestling works. But cool, neat, awesome, fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's never a matter of if there's going to be an interference when it comes to WWE. It's mainly about when. And yeah, there's probably going to be some sort of it in the Seth and Cody feud, in the match itself at Crown Jewel. So yeah, I have the same gut feeling. It's going to happen. It's just more of who is it going to be. And I mean, obviously, it will be setting up for War Games.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest, that's going to be the War Games. That's what this whole thing is. That's what this whole like Crown Jewel thing is. That's what this whole Vision thing is right now. It's all just to set up War Games and just lay the pieces out there. I don't know who else is going to be part of the Vision. See, again, what I'm not going to lie. It's just have Jay do something with the Vision. I'm saying that. Like I think I said it on Monday, or maybe it was in another conversation. I don't remember. I don't remember when I say some of these things, chat. So apologies for that. But like Jay joining the Vision, I know it's kind of a long shot, but that would at least be something different.
Yeah.
That would at least be like moving some sort of needle, like Jay turning heel and joining the Vision. That's at least something to get us talking and to get us speculating, like actually like diving into something like, oh, why Jay could have done that, or just anything besides like beyond like, because I feel bad anytime I come on here and I'm just like, oh yeah, match was good. I don't have anything else to say. Or, oh yeah, that was good. Like, because man, I remember discussions we were having like just a year ago too on things, like just talking and theorizing and all that stuff, and it's just like, where's that WWE at? Like, where's the WWE that moved people, that brought you guys to this spot? And you said it perfectly, I think last night too, on Grappling with the Week. So check out the conversation there last night, guys. We had a good conversation when it comes to like criticizing media and especially wrestling and all that. But I think you had mentioned it last night too. WWE's just gotten way too complacent, and this show tonight was a prime example of that. So I don't know. We made some sort of forward movement, at least with the main event of Crown Jewel, which, let's be honest, this is the main event. As much as people want like Io and Rhea versus the Kabuki Warriors as the main event, that is not the main event. Let's be realistic here, folks. Like, I'm sorry, like it's not. So
I
don't know. Maybe we'll get more on Monday.
Yeah, I'm kind of like leaning more towards what you said about us potentially getting a new member involved here, because part of me would honestly want that more than Brock, even though I could still see the Brock thing. It would just maybe give us something different, maybe actually give us a potential fall guy that could actually fit that role pretty well, because with Bronson Reed, he got the biggest win in his career pinning Randy Orton tonight. I know they try to place it as, oh, this is the biggest win for both of them. I mean, sure, but technically Bronson Reed was the one that pinned Randy Orton in the match, so it's kind of like, don't you want to keep that momentum going? Do you really want to get pinned next week or the week after that? You kind of want to look strong after pinning a legend like Randy Orton, so it's like, maybe if there's some spots opened up or whatever the case may be, just I wouldn't be against that sort of concept if it happened.
Yeah. Yep. We'll just have to see what happens. Again, hopefully Monday brings us something, because we got Crown Jewel like next weekend.
Yep. I'm not waking up.
Yeah. So I mean, just stay tuned, I guess. Yeah. Thank God it's gonna be earlier too. Like, thank you, Australia, for being like halfway across the world. Love to see it. So let's go ahead now into our mid-card stories, which at least this first section has a little bit more we can kind of talk about when it comes to the show overall tonight. So as what's been happening since he's won the title, Sami Zayn's been doing this US title open challenge thing, and it's been pretty good. We've been getting some really good matches. Some storylines have been kind of progressing with Sami's really able to kind of push people a little bit, and I'm really digging the work that he's putting in, as well as like the people that are challenging him. Now, what starts off the challenge though is Carmelo Hayes. So Carmelo Hayes comes out and he wants to challenge Sami Zayn for a match, obviously, saying, hey, I just got done with some dead weight. They're gone. They're done. I don't have to worry about that. They're not holding me back anymore. So now that Carmelo Hayes has freed himself from The Miz, it's time to win some gold, right? Wrong, because and hits a skull-crushing finale on Carmelo Hayes to take him out of there. So let's start with this little aspect of it first. Excited are you that Carmelo Hayes is finally going to be away from The Miz, at least as a tag team? Obviously, we're going to be having a one-on-one match with the two here soon, but just how excited are you that Carmelo Hayes is finally gone from The Miz?
Oh yeah, I'm really happy about that because this was one of the things I've been waiting for quite some. I don't want to repeat the same things I said before where we covered the shows, but it's like, to keep it short, really, he's been with Miz for a while now. He hasn't really found his spot on SmackDown outside of, I mean, the only memorable thing is whatever matches he was having with Andrade. So it's like, he hasn't really done anything special to really stick out. So the fact that he turned Miz down, he walked away, he had Miz turn on him, and obviously that's going to begin their feud where they're going to have a match, and Melo ends up going over, and then he can finally go on his rise to actually have a successful career. Because I look at some superstars on here where I can see the potential of them, and then I can see some people that had, untapped potential. And I would hate for Carmelo Hayes to be one of those guys that had potential, but they never really went anywhere with it. And that's like one of the things that bothers me. It's like you see how well they are in NXT, and then once they come up on the main roster, and they could be this big attraction in NXT, they get treated like anything that they did in NXT was meaningless, and they didn't really get that same love that they did when they were in the developmental. So it's like, if you notice how much people were, dying to see him in NXT doing this or that or whatever feuds he was involved in, I mean, you should be doing something with him now. So I'm hoping at the very least that's something that comes in mind with that, because I mean, The Miz getting away from Melo, that's a plus. That's something that they needed. Glad that this actually had a way of giving us a conclusion outside of like, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, which I assume whenever that guy comes back, he would have to attack the other one for being a complete dick to him and talking a whole bunch of shit. But it's like, I'm at least glad that they pushed this and actually made a decision instead of Carmelo being like, you know what, maybe we could figure this out and try to like force it down our throats and do it a little bit longer. So I'm glad there was at least a decision made there.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad Melo can just be away from The Miz, and I want him to do more. I want him to do better for himself, like actually have a singles run.
Yeah.
Rather than being stuck in a tag team with The Miz. I don't know, just something more. But they'll have their match, they'll have their blow off and all that. So at least that'll happen. So I'm at least happy about that. And yeah, we'll see what happens moving forward with it. But since Carmelo Hayes has now been taken down, we need a challenger for Sami Zayn. But out just saunters the Wanderer known as Aleister Black. He's like, hey, Sami, I'll take you up on that offer. I could win the U.S. title. I wouldn't mind winning a title right now. And yeah, they have a pretty damn good match, if not match of the night, when it comes to SmackDown and all that. Yeah, these two really brought it. Now, it did start just a little slow. A lot of strikes from Aleister Black and, of course, Sami, fighting from the bottom and all that. But, like, yeah, they did enter another gear, and I think one of my favorite spots was Sami doing just his jumping nothing from the top rope and immediately just hitting a knee right to the jaw from Aleister Black. I thought that was it. Like there was that moment and another moment where Aleister hit a cradle on Sami. Those two were like really close calls. I thought Aleister Black almost won the title both those times. So really good use of near falls in this match. One moment too I really liked was Aleister Black had a little bit of a freak out moment where like he starts like hitting the mat after Sami Zayn had kicked out. Just another good, like, that's that in-ring storytelling that you could do. Like now now the frustration's starting to hit Aleister Black. He's like, he doesn't know how he can actually put Sami Zayn away. Like that's the stuff that I love. Like, you're in the midst of combat, show some sort of emotion. That's where you can show your character at. As great as promos can be, it's the in-ring work that does it all. And it's not just the work rate, it's not just the moves, it's also how you tell the story in the ring. And I thought they did a fantastic job with that tonight. But of course, the match ends when Aleister Black I think he's like setting up for the Black Mass, or he's setting up for some move in the corner, and out saunters another wanderer known as Damian Priest. And he's just, trying to get a good look at the US title match. That's all he's trying to do. He's not going to interfere. He's just trying to get a good look at it. But I mean, it distracts Aleister Black enough for Sami Zayn to hit the haluva kick, hit the Blue Thunder Bomb. 1, 2, 3. That's the end of the match. And after the match, Damian Priest puts Aleister Black through a table, and we find out next week that we're going to get Damian Priest versus Aleister Black in a last man standing match, just like what we said. What was it, like last week when they were hinting at that kind of a match? Yeah. Like, WWE, we know you're listening, or like there's a shadow, there's a lurker from WWE. If it's not Triple H, it might be Stephanie McMahon or somebody. I don't know. One of y'all is listening to us, at least in that aspect. I wish you would listen to us on other things, but I guess we got to take that with what we can. But Drop, what you think in the match? The stuff with like Aleister Black, Damian Priest going into it, and I guess going forward with this last man standing match we're getting next week.
So this was probably one of the things that I liked about the show when it comes to something to look forward to, which is why I said earlier, a lot of people online have been saying that this whole US title open challenge thing that Sami Zayn has been doing as of recent has been really carrying SmackDown. And I can't disagree with them, because this probably was the thing that stood out the most on the show, because you have Sami in there being a champion, defending his title, giving other people opportunities. You had Aleister Black go in there. We haven't really seen Sami Zayn and Aleister Black go back and forth ever since Aleister came back to the company. And they were able to put on a good match. They were able to showcase what matches should be like for the US title. So that was a really good thing to see. And then, of course, when you have Damian Priest coming out, which is, like I said earlier, wasn't really big fan of like the constant Bron involvement whenever Seth's supposed to be in a big feud. But at least when it comes to this, when it comes to somebody like Damian Priest taking part in this match, it makes a lot of sense for him to cost him the match where he got distracted. Sami went for the Luva kick and the Blue Thunder Bomb, which he was able to pin Aleister Black. He was able to, win the match there. So at least with that, it makes sense. It gives Sami a successful title defense. It adds a little more to Damian Priest and Aleister Black next week before the Crown Jewel show, where they have a last man standing match, which makes a lot of sense given what's been going on between both of these guys. So, because I was a little worried at first when they announced the stipulation. I thought, it's going to be us one-on-one next week. I was like, oh my God, please tell me it's not a regular match. And then they ended up saying it was going to be a last man standing match. Like, okay, we talked about that before on our show. It makes a lot of sense given what these guys have been doing. So I'm hoping that the match next week, showcases who Aleister Black is. I can't really say Damian Priest. People know who he is. People have seen him in last man standing matches. So I'm hoping at the very least this gives Aleister Black some good brownie points so it could showcase exactly who he is, how far he's willing to go to win a match, so people can actually see that, he has more in the tank instead of being in there for like maybe 5, 10 minutes or so, like actually giving these guys some time to go out there, have a proper match to finally put an end between the both of them. But yeah, this was probably the part of the show that actually had different things moving. Carmelo Hayes and Miz's story, the turn, obviously setting things up with them, and then Aleister Black and Damian Priest adding more to them, and just more things coming Sami's way. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing how that goes, because They got Sami Zayn announced next week to have another open challenge, and a lot of the other guys that I mentioned are busy doing their own thing. Melo's obviously going to be focusing on Miz next. They got their last man standing match, so kind of opens up the door for maybe a potential surprise next week on who's answering that open challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, because like especially this week, a lot of people were I was seeing a lot of chatter about Obafemi
Yeah.
answering the call this week. And I mean, on one hand, I could see that because it's just like, all right, yeah, I mean, he hasn't been on NXT since dropping the title last week. Like he wasn't there on Tuesday. They didn't really like try to recruit him for the tag team match that's happening next week at what was it, Showdown or whatever. So but like on the other hand, though, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, if he was called up, he would have to beat Sammy,
Yeah.
and I would rather Sammy not drop the title yet because I'd like to for him at least to hold it till like at the least like Saturday night's main event time, like near the end of the year, because I
Yeah.
think that would be a good time, because then he would have gone through enough challengers to really get us, excited for the U.S. title, excited for an open challenge kind of system, and then like around December time, Sammy can drop it, maybe to Obafemi if he's not possibly John Cena's last opponent, or anybody else. Like, I mean, I don't know, Sheamus still needs the belt.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll show up for one of the open challenges.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, sorry, I'm thinking of Sheamus with the IC title. Never mind. I got the two mid card titles mixed up. My apologies, everybody. But even still, though, like he could just show up. I mean, not like the brand split is anything solid. Like it's pretty liquid, pretty gassy for them to cross the borders, if you will, to Raw and SmackDown.
Oh yeah.
But any early predictions on who it could be for Sami Zayn next week?
The only thing that's really coming to mind is Solo Sikoa. And I don't want it to be him, but it kind of seems like the signs are pointing to them revisiting each other once again. And we spoke about this before on how it seems overdone now. We don't really need it. Sure, it's been a couple months before you really seen Solo Sikoa on TV, but it's like the whole point of it is open challenge. It's supposed to be something that's like unpredictable. And Aleister Black was a nice little surprise tonight. So it's like Solo Sikoa coming there. I mean, we're talking about how this is the part of SmackDown that's really carrying the show. Just adding him in there might end up bringing it down for me. Not saying I have anything against him as a wrestler or anything that goes on with him, but it's like try to do something a little more than that. It's like focus on regrouping, building your team like you said, then maybe you can get to that. But it's like that's the only guy that really comes to mind. I don't really know who else it could be.
Yeah, I mean, they could always run a few other things back and everything. Maybe, you know what? Watch it be The Miz next week. Watch The Miz come out and be like, Sami Zayn, I challenge you to your U.S. title. It's just like, okay, cool. I mean, we could at least get that out of there, but it could be Solo as well, just because of how they've been setting up, I guess, his return, kind of reintroducing the MFT and all that. And I guess we'll see where that goes, if anywhere. I really don't know. Hopefully somewhere where we can actually maybe talk about things and discuss things and digest things and all that. But yeah, again, I just hope Sammy kind of holds it until December.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad for Kit Wilson during all this because like he has to deal with like trying to call out this toxic masculinity of Damian Priest, but Damian Priest just keeps throwing him aside in his little wheelchair. It's kind of getting to me, but we are nearing the point where it's gonna have to do something a little different to actually keep up the momentum, because like this week was fine, but we're eventually gonna get to the point where it's like, okay, you guys keep doing kind of the same shtick over and over again. Let's kind of change it up and freshen it up a little bit,
I agree.
Yep. Ah, man. But hey, let's get to some tag team action, everybody. Some more tag team. We had like 3 tag team matches tonight. I just realized. Whoo boy. Um, I was very much tempted to put these 2 in quickfire segments, but I think we can kind of talk about them a little bit. And in fact, we could probably lump these 2 together because they do have a similar theme to them. So like.
Yeah.
So these 2 tag team matches, we had Chelsea Green and Alba Fyre taking on Zaria and Ruca. Cool, great. We're doing this on SmackDown, which is awesome. I guess they're doing more of a trial run when it comes to Zaria and Ruca being on the main roster. We're trying to big them up, or at least build them up to be the next challengers for Alexa and Charlotte, who were kind of paying attention to the match and all that. And I mean, the match was good. It's just like it didn't really do too much more than just be a good match, which, on paper is fine, but, we kind of wanted a little bit more than just a good match. But again, they got to keep the forward momentum going. Do you, Drop, since you're more of the NXT guy here, do you see Zaria and Ruca pulling it off against Alexa and Charlotte?
I'd say there's a 50-50 chance just because they seem like they're very high on them. And I kind of feel like we're getting to the point that Zaria and Ruca, even though Ruca has belts, I feel like they should be rewarded as a tag team because they went from people that didn't really know each other at first and they developed a relationship properly and they became a proper tag team after a while. And they're really in sync when they work together as well. Like whenever they're involved in the ring, they're trying to perform whatever move they have to execute next in order to, get that leverage on their opponents. I wouldn't be against them being champions at all because, again, these can go between 3 brands when it comes to those titles. And we'll get into Jevon shortly, but they're featuring him on SmackDown. He's still an NXT guy, but it seems like they're trying to test the water with a lot of these people from NXT because it kind of tells us that sooner or later, maybe even by next year potentially, we might end up seeing these people soon. So they're trying to get people aware of them. Like I know for sure they're very high on Ruca because of her athletic ability. That's why I appreciate when Michael Cole's on commentary because he does give a very nice history lesson when it comes to her being a gymnast, basically saying that she didn't really know that much about wrestling when it comes to the ring aspect, what to do and everything. But when she went to the Performance Center, she'd been on in NXT. Me and you have seen her perform in the ring. She has a lot of great matches. It's kind of hard to say that Ruca really has bad matches because she's very good in the ring with whoever you put her in. And a lot of people even come out and say that they love her finisher, the Soul Snatcher. It's such a unique and creative move, the way that she executes it. That's kind of like her version of like Randy Orton's RKO. You don't really know when it's coming. It just happens when it does because you could be like trying to prep for a move and then all of a sudden she hits you with it and then you're just out cold. She wins the match and everything. So it's like, I wouldn't be against them winning it. It could potentially happen. I'm kind of I would assume it would probably take place after whatever goes on next week with the whole NXT versus TNA thing, and then it can happen. But it could go either way. Either Charlotte and Alexa win, or they win, whatever. I honestly wouldn't be upset with either outcome because they're both good teams. So that's just how I feel.
Yeah. And also, like, good on for Booker T, too, because I do want to commend Booker T a little bit on commentary because like there was a point where like he was kind of unbearable and just kind of spouting a bunch of nonsense and all that. But tonight, I think he did a really good job with the Zaria part of it because he was mentioning how like, she's still getting her footing down here in WWE and all that. And in the future, soon enough, everybody, once she has that understanding of how things work around here, it's over. Like as soon as she becomes champion it's going to be a reign unlike any other, and I'm looking forward to that day too. Like, these ladies are still relatively young and all that, so like they're gonna have a long career. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what they can do after that. But I do want to at least commend that aspect of this match itself. And yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like Soul Ruca too, she has a bright future. I mean, the Soul Snatcher, like when you describe the finishing move to somebody, it sounds kind of convoluted, and you kind of think to yourself, huh, how does that just kind of come out of nowhere? But then you watch the move happen, and it's like, oh, that's how. Okay, great, perfect. And yeah, I would agree with you. It's kind of her version of the RKO. Again, can come out of nowhere just as long as she has something to step up on. So yeah, and I kind of agree with you too. I think they are just kind of seeing what these NXT talents can do with the main roster. I still think Zaria and Ruca still have some stuff to do in NXT. So I'm kind of looking, if they were to join the main roster, maybe around Mania time.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Kind of, because that'll give them enough time to tell whatever story they're going to tell and all that. Because I would also like for them to have the tag team titles. Just yeah, because that could still be the catalyst for whoever turns on whoever for like between Soul Ruca and Zaria and all that. But when it comes to like Jevon Evans here, so he actually teamed up with Rey Fenix to take on Luis Garza. And again, a fine match, whatever. It's more of just a showcase to show what Jevon Evans can do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they bumped him up earlier than what I said with Soul Ruca and Zaria.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's other things in NXT that he could do, but just when you look at reports and how they went, it seemed like Rey Fenix was supposed to be in a tag team with Andrade, and since that didn't work out, they might be trying to find him some new tag team partners.
Yeah.
I mean, not a bad shout to have Jevon Evans as your partner.
Oh no.
Hey, kid's good.
Yeah, he really is. That's why like I'm not against him being on the main roster when he makes his appearances here and there, because yeah, sure, he does have things going on in NXT. Like he has that whole the recent feud he had with Josh Briggs, so it's like maybe him and Rey Fenix teaming up on SmackDown if they do end up pulling the trigger with him a little bit early. I could see it, because that could also help Rey Fenix at the same time, because his brother Penta had gotten over pretty quickly. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody looks forward to him whenever he comes out. Rey Fenix, as much as I thought it was going to be that way with him, he hasn't really reached lengths like that yet. So I'm hoping if they were to team them up, they could probably, do great things with one another. They can help out each other. They could, get over organically and everything. I mean, you already have the audience actually interacting with Jevon Evans. Like whenever his song hits, they say bouncy and everything. So it's like they're already getting used to the theme song and everything. They seem really attached to him. So I'm kind of hoping the same thing could happen to Rey Fenix in the future if they do. But you said it pretty well. Like this match, just like the other one, really, it was just a showcase of like showing more of like what Jevon Evans can do and what Zaria and Ruca could do, because those are talents that people don't tend to really see that much. So getting their foot in the water, swimming around a little bit so they can get used to it before they do what they need to do in NXT, before they come up and, do their thing there. I feel like this is smart marketing in terms of, prepping some of your future stars on the main roster, getting them involved in little things before they eventually take off in the future, because I definitely see a lot of bright futures for them. Like Jevon Evans is going to be like the fan favorite underdog in the future. I already know that for sure.
Yeah.
And then Zaria is going to be like a powerhouse, kind of like how Rhea Ripley is now. She's going to become the next Zaria. I'm not going to label her as the next Rhea Ripley, but she's going to become somebody herself that's going to stand out. And so Ruca, I mean, you see how she is. She's going to be somebody that's going to become a fan favorite that a lot of people are going to look forward to. So I do appreciate them having their time on SmackDown. That's something I can give some positive feedback towards SmackDown, is the fact that they do actually have more upcoming NXT stars on there compared to Raw, because I don't really see that with Raw at all.
No, I don't either. So I don't know, man. I mean, again, great matches, good partners for them to have like these matches too. Like with Chelsea Green and Alba Fyre, like they are great dance partners to have in a situation like this, where they can make their opponents look very deadly. I mean, you don't have to do that too much with when it comes to Zaria, but again, Chelsea Green being in there to sell everything and really like work the match like she did. Good decision there. Kind of same with Los Garza. I mean, they're kind of at that bottom ring of the totem pole. So yeah, they can easily eat a loss like this towards from Jevon and Ray Phoenix and all that. So and plus they're also really good. They know how to make their opponents look good and all that. Yeah. So also, I didn't know they lost their tag titles a while ago. So thank you, Michael Cole, for letting me know about that. They lost their AAA tag titles, I guess. So
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing. They didn't even come out to the ring with them, I don't think. Like, I'm like, oh, you guys really like to, tout around your championships and all that. Why aren't they here? That could give you an edge if you wanted to cheat and all that. Yeah, just nothing beyond what we've already talked about. I mean, just good to see some NXT talent on there. I hope they're able to move up and do well on the main roster. We'll see when the time comes for them to fully be on there. But ladies and gentlemen, we've reached our quickfire segments. Let's go through these because a lot of it's just kind of like, So Tiffany and Stephanie Vaquer, they put pen to paper for the crown jewel match, but interrupted by Kiana James and Julia, who are making their standing within the company known. They're pushed back by the faces. Cool, neat, awesome. Here's your tag match for next week, everybody. Jacob Fatu has a video package. Basically, he's tired of people lying and talking too much. He's on a whole other time and all gas, no brakes. He's ready to end everything for people who just don't want to let him be and just complain a lot, especially on social media and everything. A lot of that's directed towards Drew. So cool, neat, awesome. Like Drop had mentioned earlier, we had another solo video package introducing Hikuleo now, or excuse me, Talatanga of the MFTs. So I guess it's all finally come full circle. We all know who the MFTs are. Cool, neat, awesome. And of course, Street Profits are in the back saying, hey, we're fighting for the titles next week, but we're also fighting for each other, blah, blah, blah. Just, you can tell the divides there. It's just like, if they can win next week, will that fix everything? Or will the Wyatts be proven right yet again on something? So four massive quickfire segments. So Drop, what did you think of any of these, if anything really kind of stuck out to you as hey, that was cool, or anything like that?
I think the one that really stuck out to me the most was probably the Jacob Fatu video package, because we were really happy to see him return last week. So see him coming back, talking his shit, talking about Drew McIntyre, setting things up for their feud and everything. I'm really glad that that's set in stone. So at least we know exactly where Jacob Fatu is heading moving forward. So I am very happy about that. Like, obviously we knew he acknowledged Drew McIntyre last week, but it's nice to see things are kicking into gear right away, or not waiting like a week or two before we see something like this. And then like the Tiffany and Stephanie thing, I mean, it's just match being confirmed, and then having a typical WWE 101 match where can they coexist with Tiffany and Stephanie teaming up with one another next week for their match. So obviously that's why things are set there. And I already mentioned the Solo Sikoa King, and I can really touch on that much. And then the Street Profits, I feel with that you got to have something big happen, because I did mention this about the Street Profits before. where I'm like, if they win this match, cool, great, fantastic. They won the match. They have the tag team titles again. Awesome. They got gold. But there's part of me thinking maybe there's more to a bigger story of them losing, and then potentially they have like something fall apart between the both of them, because that seems like something that they've been teasing as of recent. So maybe that's something that they dive into. I'm not entirely sure yet, but that's pretty much how I feel about that. Like I honestly feel like they might have to lose that match next week, because I don't really, because I feel like there's more interesting things with them, maybe button heads, arguing with one another, more than them like having another tag match, losing, moving on, getting momentum again, doing the same thing, because we've seen it so much. If you're going to cap it off at some point, you would have had them win, but it doesn't really seem like they are winning. So yeah, that's basically like all my thoughts on our quickfire segments tonight. I mean, Jacob Fatu stuck out the most.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Jacob Fatu's definitely stood out the most for me. The one thing I have to say about the Stephanie thing, can Tiffany turn heel, please? Can do something?
I
Because
kid you not.
oh my god, her promos are horrible, man.
Yeah. Like I kid you not. Like when I saw her get attacked, I actually thought it was Stephanie, because I got really confused what was going on. Like when she was heading back, then I saw that it was like Julia and Kiana coming out, and I'm like, come on, man. I mean, yeah, but that would be nice.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah, just something. Maybe she teams up with Kiana and Julia, kind of like doing a power trip or something. If they do that, and Ruca and Zaria are unable to beat Charlotte and Alexa, maybe this new team of Julia and Tiffany can get it done. I mean, Tiffany did beat Charlotte at WrestleMania, so they could always play upon that too. I mean, that's at least something. It could inject something into something desperately that the women's U.S. title kind of needs right now.
Yeah.
Again, it's something, and like having a 2-woman power trip like that would be fun. That would be cool. That would at least be intriguing enough to be like, hey, let's talk about all this. Yeah, and I mean, kind of the same with the Street Profits too. Like, it would be great if they won, because I do like the Street Profits as a team, but I doubt they're gonna win, because again, we got make movies and all that stuff. We've got to be cinema and all that. So yeah, let's end that little division of the Street Profits and have them just be on 2 different sides of a same coin or whatever. Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, we've actually reached our final thoughts and all that. I mean, what can I say other than what we've already said? I mean, this is kind of a nothing SmackDown. Like, you got some sort of build, some sort of hype for the SmackDown next week. So if anything, definitely tune into next week's SmackDown for anything. But really, like, you could probably just skip this episode of SmackDown, if I'm being completely honest with everybody. Like, I wouldn't even try to look for it. If you look at one thing from this match, from this SmackDown, is the Sami Zayn Aleister Black match. At least watch that to like watch something good on your TV screen, but everything else, just, you don't need to watch it. You don't need to listen to it. That's why we're here to talk about it. You could just listen to us and have your lives enriched even more than you would have if you had actually watched SmackDown tonight.
Yeah.
Oh man. But Drop, what do you think of SmackDown overall?
So I would probably have to say, when it comes to SmackDown tonight, I mean, yeah, you could have just skipped it. Really, there really wasn't anything here that really stuck out and really made a difference outside of like the things we talked about tonight. So I'm just ready for next week, really. That seems like the more interesting show based on what they built up with that. But
Mm.
I don't really have much to say here. I wish I could, but
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's just the nature of, doing these weekly shows like this. I mean, sometimes you have a lot to say and we'll go on for like 2+ hours and all that. Other times, hey, it's kind of just an hour show because nothing of substance happened. It's just we had a good match and like 3 other tag team matches that were mediocre at best.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's SmackDown, everybody. Sorry about your bad luck, but hey, it is Friday, so maybe we could just take a chill pill tonight. Just ease into this weekend and all that before we all do what we need to do this weekend. Whether that's just working, or maybe you're finally playing Ghost of Yote, or you said, "Hey, I don't like PlayStation," so you're playing the new Digimon game, or you're like me who has all of them, and it's just like, I have no time to play any of those games, but anything you could do this SmackDown, you could probably watch it. With that being said, I'm just gonna take some time to thank you guys for it, because hey, despite SmackDown, you at least clicked on this video to listen to how we thought of SmackDown, and for that, I'm very gracious to you, very grateful for you, but I am going to take the time to thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, we have tons of links in our description below. You see a bunch of ads on your screen. You got Drop This Box, Watkins MW, Legend D Vash, who's currently helping out The Rock, kind of maybe gain some muscle back after the boxing movie he did. You got at Weebs of the Rings, and as well as the hashtag Weebs of the Ring. Great opportunity for you to chat with us before, during, after these shows, and it's a great way for you to give us feedback, because hey, feedback is great to get, because that means you can better yourself, you can become more of yourself, and any product you have will in turn become better. So hey, give us that feedback so we can continue to do this and be better than we were last stream. Weebs of the Ring is presented by Studio. Thanks, of course, to our production team for all of their hard work that they put in to make this show a reality. Thank you once again for joining us. And remember, as always, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you on Monday for the Monday Night Raws. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.